Foosley, yesterday I found out that my girlfriend was cheating on me with my best friend. Jeez. And I'm still crying about it because we were together for 4 years. And I'm suffering from migraines. Pigheck, I am so sorry about that. Your girlfriend was cheating on you with your best friend. Listen, I didn't go through that, but I kind of went through that. Like, sort of, kind of. My boyfriend, like, left me for my best friend. But then, like, I'm pretty sure they were together. And then it's kind of the worst situation ever because you lose both your best friend and your SO at the same time. So you lose your best friend and your best friend at the same time. And then it's the worst pain because they're, like, together. And then you're just, like, alone. It's awful. But you'll be okay. You'll be okay, and then you're better off without them, you know? Dude, I'm so sorry. That's awful. It's actually awful. I've had a lot of breakups, but I'll still say, like, in terms of, like, physical pain, like, aching pain, that one was still the hardest. I've had a, you know, like, me and Edison broke up. I'll even say that it was harder than breaking up with my fiance because, like, when me and Edison broke up, at least it was like a lot of discussion, mutual, like we really thought about it and like we had talked about it a long time. And it was a kind of like a long time coming versus with my ex, it was like poof, slap in the face, like bam, breaking up. By the way, I'm dating like, you know, like your best friend. You can't even talk to her anymore because like, oh, I saw it as betrayal from her as well. But like my best friend, it's like, what the? This girl, like, I was like sleepovers all the time. We had the same closet. We just threw each other clothes around because we just wear it. We sleep. I don't know, we do everything together. Best friend. And then so bam, you get broken up. Well, also he broke up with me. He breaks up with me. Then my best friend ghosts me out of nowhere because I'm like trying to talk to her about it. And then she's ghosting me. And I'm like, what? And then, bam, like she's talking, and then you start seeing Instagram pictures of them together, and then you're in denial about it. But then, like, your friend comes along, and he's like, "Oh yeah, like I heard Mikey and Isabel are dating," and you're like, "No, they're not. They are not dating. They would never date. They would never do that." And then you find out it's true, and then you go through it, and you start crying, and you start throwing things, and then screaming, and all that stuff, you know. Anyways, are they still together? No. One of them cheated on the other one. But they're both like very happy and successful. I'm very happy for both of them. She had like a bunch of Snapchat stock and did really, really well and is happily married with a beautiful house. And he's doing very well as an emergency medicine doctor. Happy. Karma got him. No, they're doing well. I'm actually very happy for them. Like I have no, like I joke about it, but I have like actually no resentment. Well, I have very minimal. There is part of me that like always wishes that I could have like had the last word or like said something that like, but overall it's been so long. Would I say hi to either of them if I saw them? No. Do I actively like, darn you? Like, oh, it's just like, yeah, it hurt a lot at the time. You just move on. If they were still together even, you know, part of me was such a like, when they were together, part of me would reason that like to make myself feel better, I would say, listen, the whole time I was the obstacle in the way of their true love anyway. Like now that I'm out of the way, they can be happier together. Like what the heck was I saying? I was always like, that's the truth. And like, maybe it's just best that I'm out of the way. Friends are like, dude, Leslie, what the heck? That's so messed up what they did to you. Why would you think that way? I was like, well, I don't know. Just makes everything like, and I was like, in the long run, if they have kids and a beautiful family and wonderful grandkids and a whole great life together, I'm glad I got out of the way now. Girl, I don't even know. I need help. I'm the problem. But either way, yeah, you move on. Listen, you just move on. It was meant to be. And the green, green grass. Was it ever your fault? Nothing is ever my fault. Yeah, I mean, I could have been definitely less crazy of a girlfriend. I would say that, like, if I had to say, like, he was definitely, like, the like worst one in the relationship. But everyone will say that, but I swear he's actually the worst one. Like, he would flirt with girls right in front of my face, and I'd confront him, and he's like, babe, I'm just a flirty guy by nature. That's just like my personality and stuff. Like, I can't really do anything about it. That's just how I am. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. What? Not me apologizing because it's his personality to be flirtatious. Huh? Yeah, he said that. He would say, he would always either play it off as his personality or he's joking. At parties, he'd always pick some other, like, girl to be his beer pong partner and made me sit on the side and I just watch. And I was like, hey, your girlfriend wants to be your beer pong partner. Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Whew. I would sit on the side and then I would just like leave. I would leave. He was so much more social than me. He was the more popular one too. So I always felt like people would be like, oh my God, Mikey's girlfriend, right? And I'm like, yeah, hi. Like, I was kind of like the kind of accessory, I felt. So I didn't feel like I had a lot to say at times. I was like, oh, okay, well, he's the one who wants to, he's got to socialize and network and everything. So I'll sit on the sidelines and I don't want to get in the way of him making new friends and all that stuff. And, so I always had that mentality of just like kind of sit back. But I was hoping he might ask me to be his beer pong partner sometimes, or he wouldn't flirt blatantly with girls right in front of my face. He would be, there was like a time I was waiting for him. He worked as like a RA, or not RA, but like at the front desk of like the dorm place, and people would come up. And I was literally sitting waiting for him to get off his shift. And then like this girl comes up to him and he like jokingly, or like either she asked for his number or he asked for her number, but like right in front of my face. And he like was super playful about it. And then he gets off and I'm like, what was that? And he's like, what? And I was like, you asked for her number, or like she asked for her number and you gave it to her. I forgot. And then he's like, it's a joke. And I'm like, does she know that? Like, it seemed pretty real to me. Like, what? I mean, it's a joke. I'm watching this thing. This is very real. I mean, like, you are blatantly flirting. Like, you are getting her number. Where's the joke? And he's like, no, it's obviously a joke. Like, anyone would know that was a joke. And I was like, I didn't know it was a joke. Why does she know it's a joke? Anyways, he would do stuff like that to me all the time. I was like, what, am I crazy? And he's like, well, it was, I'm sorry. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't find it funny, whatever. And then he'd be like, okay, well, I'm sorry, I won't do that again. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, I love you. And I was like, okay. You're just like, I didn't find it funny, or like, I don't think she knew, and like, don't do that stuff. And like, why would you even joke about that stuff? And he's just like, I don't know, it's just so funny. Well, I knew you were there, so I thought it would, like, whatever, playfully make you jealous kind of stuff. And I'm like, anyways, in the past, good riddance. It was bad, dude. So also, it's not like these were like blatant, like he's not like someone you look at like, wow, what a toxic douchebag. Like, you don't look at him like that. You'd be like, oh my God, he's so great. Like, what a kind, awesome person. Because at his great moments too, he was so loving. So kind, and always the one to chase after me when I would run out, like crying. He would make me cry, but I'd be like, I'm leaving! Blast Taylor Swift, and then he's like, no! And he'd be like, please, please. And I'm like, what? And then he'd like get in the car and he's like, please, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, fine. And then he'd give me the most heartfelt apology, say like how beautiful I was, how like everything, it was so sweet. And I'm like, really? Okay, all right, and then I get won over again. And I was like, and then it'd go so well until that he'd pull another thing like that. So it wasn't like, God, he was still, I would say, not even like the worst. He would be like, bro, he would love bomb me like crazy. Flowers, the sweetest things ever. Yeah, flowers and snacks and the kindest love notes. He called me the cutest nicknames. He used to call me Pookie. Pookie, and I'd call him Pooks. Ooh. God, I was so deep in that relationship. I was so deep in it that like the idea of breaking up just didn't make sense. He was my first boyfriend, like went to high school with him. Then we went to college together, 3.5 years of college, going through such a like tumultuous time for both of us in those years. College is like, go through a lot. And he'd bring me like burritos at like 5 a.m. when I was like studying really late, like falling asleep on my couch, or he'd like, tap me awake. He's like, hey. I was like, oh my God, thank you. So it was very sweet stuff too. So it was hard to like leave. If it was just the flirting and all the fighting and stuff, I'd be like out. But because it was a lot of that like love bombing and stuff right back after, I was very smitten too. I was like, this is just part of life. These are relationships, the ups and downs, right? So what? He's got a little bit of a flirty personality. He can't help it that he's cute. Darn it. I'll defend this man. But then when he leaves you for your best friend, ugh, 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 it hurts. The agony, the pain.